computer. Okay, so we have good traction from many quarters, both government and private. We have good traction from Department of Energy, Argonne National Laboratory, which is a sister concern of Department of Energy, and NASA and other space institutes who have shown interest in our organization because we are trying to tackle some of the challenges they are facing in terms of colonization of other planets. For example, let's say it's going to be Mars or Moon. I have given some important aspects related to Prevost theory of heat exchanges and even the radiative equilibrium of those planets and satellites, because the radiative equilibrium is an important aspect which we should consider before even colonizing a planet. The radiative equilibrium of Earth, if you take the radiative equilibrium of Earth, it's 14 degrees. So 14 degrees is a very optimum temperature. So it's the radiative equilibrium is the amount of heat energy which is given out and absorbed. So you should have an equilibrium for that. So that is a direct implication of the Prevost theory of heat exchanges. So only when we have a good radiative equilibrium, we could inhabit that planet. So 14 degrees is a very optimum temperature. That's why we are able to live in planet Earth. So we should go for similar planets. So we have many twin Earths in the universe. There are more than 4,000 which have been identified. So we should target at reaching those twin Earths or exoplanets, which are in other solar systems, not in our solar system. So I have put forth this point, and also there is a problem with our orbital system. Our elliptical orbit system of the solar system is pretty unstable. So every 100,000 odd years, we get some problems with all the global sea levels rising and the ice melting, all these things. It's like a cycle, so it happens every 100,000 years. So all the solutions which you are trying to provide, like curbing greenhouse gases, fossil fuel, and other things, they are all band-aid solutions. But the real problem lies elsewhere. The real problem is with the orbital instability of our solar system. So that in particular our planet, and even if you go for other planets, you'll face similar problems. So we will have to invent new ways to move out of this planet in terms of a warp drive. I was talking about warp drive the other day. Maybe you do not join that meeting. I will give a brief about what a warp drive is. So we have the space-time continuum, and time cannot be bent. So there is something called a time arrow, but time cannot be bent, but space can be bent. So if you bend space, your time shortens and you can reach far distances at a short time. So that's the concept of warp drives. So you warp the space around you and shorten the time taken to reach far distances. It is in some aspects similar to a wormhole, but putting a wormhole in the universe is not going to happen. Someone is not going to place a wormhole out of somewhere, so it's not going to happen. But we could invent warp drives. We need a very tremendous energy for that. And we have the concept of neutron stars. Neutron stars can be mimicked at the lab, and we could have some part of it for as an energy source for our either the spaceships or rockets which we are going to build, which will be completely different from the ballistics technology which we are using. The ballistic technology is also used in the, let's say, a revolver or a gun. So that is the same technology which is used in rockets. So that is not a very good technology. Ballistics is not a good technology. Yeah, hi Elizabeth. We are listening. We have just started our meeting. So it's recorded. So even if you have missed some parts of the meeting, I've sent the recording to you later. So we were just talking about ballistics and radiative equilibrium and other stuff, which we would like to propose to NASA and the Department of Energy to enhance our portfolio of projects. So the reason why we are trying to get projects from government organizations and government bodies is we want to be known as the most revered organization, and we want to maintain good relationships with the government bodies all over the world. And we are also working on promoting global peace. And this would help us to enhance our mission statement of promoting global peace, along with our mission statement of alleviation of child labor and child poverty all over the world, along with women empowerment. That is our core principle. And of course, pediatric cancer research. The reason why I'm concentrating on pediatric cancer research is there's more hope when it comes to pediatric cancer research than adult cancer research, unless we find a vaccine, which we are aiming to find within 5 years. Pediatric cancer research has more hope, and the more the funding, we'll have better results. And we will have to understand why children get cancer, because cancer is basically a lifestyle related disease. So if your lifestyle is poor, you get cancer. But children getting cancer is quite a mystery. So we will have to do research on that. And we will combine three fields in this. One field would be drug discovery, which Ana Perez would be helping us with. The second field is cancer vaccine research, for which I have contacted many oncology experts and doctors from many institutes, and some other people who are good at neogenomics, epigenetics, and so other aspects of microbiology as well. And that's another stream. And the third stream is going to be nanorobotics. So how nanorobotics is going to help with cancer research. Now, this is going to be a long-term project, in the sense we are going to place nanorobots in the bloodstream and other parts of our body and in various cells, so that they could understand the cell dynamics for a long period of time, let's say 20 years. And they could do the corrective mechanism if there is a problem with the lifestyle, or if there is going to be any mutation in a mutation in a small way, which is going to create cancerous cells, which are abnormal cells with improper cell division, what do you call, behavior. So that's what is cancer. Cancer is nothing but abnormal cells which divides without any proper what do you call, rule. So it just multiplies very fast. So these are abnormal cells. So that's cancer. So it can happen to any cell. That's why we have so many types of cancer. So it can happen to any cell. So we are also doing research on adult stem cells. You might have heard about embryonic stem cells. So embryonic stem cells is pretty easy. You retain the stem cells of children when they're born. You take it from their embryo and store it in a bank, stem cell bank, and later on you use them if some of their organs are not working. Let's say a heart is not working, or a kidney is not working, or lung is not working. So you will have the specific cell for those organs in your embryonic stem cells, and you could replace them, regrow them for those. You could regrow those organs and do the transplant. So that is embryonic stem cells. So that's fine. So what happens to people who don't have these embryonic stem cells? Let's say even for my kid, I just missed the opportunity of storing his embryonic stem cells. So for him, what I can do is I can do research on adult stem cells. So adult stem cells research is something happening, and we could use even adult stem cells for replacing organs which have been worn out, or have undergone some mutation. So we are working on that as well. And that's a pretty interesting area of research. It's been there for a long time. It's not a new topic. It's due to some ethical reasons, it did not get much traction. And now with the advent of CRISPR and other such technologies, which are very simple, you could just do for $100 in your backyard. So we could start gene editing in a very ethical manner, and we could solve some of the problems. Let's say people who have been wheelchaired for a long time, that's due to their weakness in the muscles of their legs, and we could do gene editing for them, and we could help them. And people in wheelchair could be a thing of the past. So we are working on those topics as well. The reason why we are diversifying and our organization is so diversified is our organization, though it's a profit-making organization, we are trying to solve the challenges of all the challenges what people face and make their lives comfortable. So, and I'm also using technologies from various other streams. Let's say I'm using the technology of defense, Department of Defense. Let's say heat signatures. Heat signatures are used for aircrafts and fighter jets. I'm using that technology for child abuse prevention. So you might have seen my post on heat signature and how it can avoid child abuse. So you could differentiate a bad touch by means of a heat signature. So let's say if Elizabeth, my mom, touches me, so it is an affectionate touch. So you could find out from the heat signature. But if some child abuser touches a child with a wrong intention, you could easily find out with the heat signature. So we will have to do simulation and of all the heat signatures, all different types of heat signatures, and we could train a system. We could use strong AI. We need not have strong AI; just a normal weak AI would be enough. And we could collaborate with Gentherm, who have good heat signature models. The reason why I'm going for Gentherm is they are good at model-based development for heat signatures. We could do it on our own. We just need some sensors, haptic sensors. Haptic sensors are touch sensors. So we just need some touch sensors and do some simulation and create models of our own and have the artificial intelligence built for it, a simple neural network. Convolution based neural network. We need not even go for capsule based. Simple convolution based neural network would be enough. We could build that, but we want some expertise in from market leaders like Gentherm. The reason is they have the expertise and their accuracy rates are good. So we need not reinvent the wheel. So that's why I'm collaborating. So most of the topics which I've been talking about, we can do it on our own. We can do it on our own and we have the confidence. But the reason I'm trying to collaborate with many organizations, many people is to get their perspective as well, and to get their expertise into our framework. So that's the reason we are going to collaborate. And the space of the industry space, the corporate space is going to change dramatically with our approach. There won't be a competition. There will be a healthy competition, but everyone would work on a synergetic manner with a lot of symbiotic relationships between organizations. BMW and Daimler's collaboration around a few areas is a good example of how competitors can collaborate on topics which are good for the society. I hope you agree with this strategy. So even though we are competing with IBM, we could collaborate with IBM on many aspects. So this is quite similar to how Daimler and BMW have collaborated on a few topics. So that is the reason I'm looking for collaboration everywhere. Though we can do many of the topics on our own, I'm trying to collaborate with many players in the space, whether it's going to be augmented reality or cancer research. Okay, for cancer research, I've tried to collaborate with AstraZeneca. There are many more collaborators who are interested, like Mount Sinai, the most renowned hospital in US. It's in New York. Mount Sinai Hospital, they are interested in our research. So I'll be contacting a few of them. They have contacted me, in fact. So I'll be contacting a few of them, and we would start our research. And Michigan Medicine is quite interested in our research. So they have come up with many posts in this regard. For example, I was talking about the chambers of the heart and how we could live with two chambers. So I was discussing on those terms, and I found a post from Michigan Medicine where they have done kind of a chamber stabilization through external means without a heart transplant. So that is exactly what I'm trying to convey. So that is something similar to what I was trying to convey. We could go a step further, and let's say I can donate 2 chambers of my heart to my bestie in Moscow, Vika. So Vika is suffering from congenital heart disease. She wants to be very active, but she cannot be active because her heart doesn't support it. There are some problems with with the chambers of her heart. It does not pump oxygenated blood the way a normal heart does. So this is a congenital heart disease in the sense she's having it from birth. She did a surgery when she was 2 years old, but it was it's like just a kind of contingency plan. It's not fully a recovery mechanism. So she's still having some problems, some health issues. So for people like Vika, a chamber transplant, not a heart transplant, but a chamber transplant. Let's say I have 4 chambers. I could donate 2 chambers of my heart to Vika. So we have the 4 chambers are 2 ventricles and 2 atrium. We don't need 2 of them, just like our kidney, lungs, and liver and stuff. We just need 1 atrium and 1 ventricle. So a fish does it in the best possible manner. The fish has gills. They don't have lungs, but it does the same functionality. And the heart of a fish pumps the oxygenated blood to all parts of the body very effectively. In fact, it's the most effective mechanism among all organisms. So the fish is the first organism to have evolved from amino acids. So all life is amino acids. So from amino acids, we have fish being evolved. So fish has a better mechanism of delivering oxygenated blood to the body through its heart pumping the blood. So we will have to follow the principle of a fish. We have evolved from a fish, but that's bad evolution. So this bad evolution has given us the opportunity for donating our heart chambers. So we have complicated things unnecessarily. So from 2 chambers, we have become 4 chambers. But 4 chambers is good in a way that we are now able to donate 2 chambers for people who have problems, heart ailments. So imagine everyone donating 2 chambers, then there won't be any heart ailment in the world. So likewise, we have the concept of stereo vision in our eyes. So let's say I close my eyes. I close my single eye, left eye. I can still see everything clearly. There's no problem with my understanding of the scene. There's no problem. So this goes to show that stereo vision is not required for human beings. Stereo vision is twin eye vision. So it's required for eagles, bald eagles, which have to jump on their prey from a long distance. For them, it's required. For human beings, it's not required. So for all other birds, you see, they have peripheral vision. But for bald eagle alone, it has a straight stereo vision. So that's what we will have to learn from animals. That's the reason I do a lot of research of animals and see what's going on. So we don't need a stereo vision, and there are many personalities who have lived successfully without stereo vision. For example, there's an actor called Rana Daggubati. He's a person in the Indian film industry. He is acted in a famous movie called Bahubali as the villain. He has acted in many movies. So he has only one eye. He has only one eye, and he's a very successful person in the cinema industry. Likewise, there was a cricketer named Tiger Patodi. He was a famous cricketer. He got injured while playing cricket and he lost one of his eyes, but he lived his whole life with a single eye. So there's no problem with that. So we could live with a single eye. So this could help blind people of the world. There are just 435 million blind people in the world. And 77% of those people, for 77% of those people, for them, the blindness could be completely reversed. So it's just 435 million people. So we have 7 billion people in the world. So imagine everyone donating a single eye. Then there won't be any blind people in the world. So this is one aspect. So similarly, lungs, liver lobe, in a part of intestine, pancreas. So there are many people dying out of pancreatic cancer. Even Steve Jobs died of pancreatic cancer. So if we donate part of a pancreas, part of a liver lobe, a single lung, single kidney has been there for a long time, so that's not new. And eye, then what else? Intestine, a part of intestine. So many people die out of intestinal cancer, colon cancer, many stuff. So we could give part of intestine. So it's these things are in excess what we need. So it's not that I'm going to donate, I'm going to die tomorrow. No. So I want to participate in live organ donation, in the sense donation of organs when we are alive, not when we are deceased. So the deceased, not diseased, deceased, that is dead. So the reason why I'm talking about this is the shelf life of these organs are pretty limited. So if I die, if I write a will saying that I want to donate my organs after death, let's say I die in a very remote location, I met with an accident, and the circumstances of death should be accident. It's not that I get very old and I get very sick and I die and they donate my organs. It's not going to happen because my organs are not good. So organ donation won't help there. I have to die out of accident. So consider all these things. I have to die out of accident, and I have to die in a very prominent location, not in a remote location or a hill station. Because the shelf life of these organs are very limited, and by the time they transport my organs from the hill station to any hospital, they'll be useless. My organs will be useless. So all these things are the ones which are preventing organ donation, and the donor list is the donor wait list is pretty huge, and many people die without getting an organ transplant. So we can avoid all these challenges by donating organs while we are alive. That's the way ahead. So we will have to donate organs while we are alive and not donate organs after we are dead. So donating organs after we are dead is not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's not a sacrifice at all. Because your body is going to the ashes, and you're just donating organs after you're dead. That's not a big deal. Anyway, your body is going to be eaten by the mud and organisms in the mud, or you're going to be cremated. So donating your organs after death is not a noble act at all. So we will have to donate organs while we are alive, and we will have to maintain a healthy lifestyle for that. So we have to maintain a healthy lifestyle and donate organs for others, so that we could help people. So I have registered in the Life Donation America website, and that's also related to my driver's licensing authority. So I've been marked as a organ donor, so I'm in the national registry. So I urge all our employees to be part of their own country's national register. I don't know whether we have an international register, and due to logistics, I don't know how they're going to transport across countries, but at least try to register in your national registries for organ donation. So I assure you that you're not going to be affected in any way. Let's say you donate a kidney or you donate bone marrow, you are not going to be affected in any way. The load balancing would still be the same. So let's say you have two kidneys. You have two kidneys, and the load for removing the waste from the body and converting it to urine would be the same if you have two kidneys or a single kidney. If you have two kidneys, it will be distributed among the kidneys in a 50-50% manner. So the ideal utilization will be 50% for each kidney. If you have a single kidney, you will have 100% utilization. But and remember, and I'll reiterate that having 100% utilization is not bad when it comes to our organs. They have done research on that, and they have done research for a long time, for more than 20 years or 30 years, on people who have donated a single kidney, and they have lived in a in a what you call hale and healthy manner. So there's no problem with the organ donation. So this is the same is applies for other organs as well. So I urge, at least through this forum, I urge people to donate the organs while they are alive and save a lot of people. So I had come up with posts in Instagram and LinkedIn around that, and this is our a corporate social responsibility. So this is our CSR. Okay, I was talking about these things. Now let's go to the projects which we are working on. So our major project currently, which is going to generate a lot of revenue, is our partnership with Microsoft for HoloLens 2, in particular Holo Anatomy. And we need people working on extended reality, that's augmented reality, and virtual reality. I have more than 5 people who have been shortlisted for recruitment, and they're going to start pretty soon. There are some formalities going on, so because they are working for other projects, and there is some onboarding stuff going on, so some delay. So I should have started this activity by Jan 1st. Unfortunately, some people could not be onboarded earlier than that, and some delays here and there, and some issues with working capital. Now we are going to get the working capital and also the resources. So this project is going to be going to get underway, and we'll start with simple apps for whole anatomy, and then we'll go for complex apps. So we'll target the low hanging fruits and generate some revenue, and then go for more complex stuff like surgery assistance and stuff. So surgery assistance would be something similar to a digital twin, where we diagnose a whole vehicle without even touching the vehicle. So it's going to be a non-intrusive method of accessing the information, whether it's going to be the human body or it's going to be a vehicle. So this holoanatomy is quite similar. So we'll work on those topics in a very what do you call in-depth manner, and we would have many people inducted. So I have a target of at least recruiting 500 people in US alone for this fiscal year. So in US alone. So we are going to grow big, and we want to become a unicorn. In fact, we have already become a unicorn. Let's imagine we get $6 billion as funding. So we are already a unicorn. So the funding required for a unicorn is just $1 billion, and we are 6 times more than that. So we are already a unicorn. So becoming a unicorn is not a big deal. So we will have to show this traction and grow so that we become a $1 trillion company. That's our aim. The reason why we want to become a $1 trillion company in terms of revenue is there are 1.2 billion people in the world, 1.2 billion children, not even people, 1.2 billion children in the world who are under the poverty line. I'm not sure whether this statistic is right, because first, the percentage of children among the 7 billion people population would be, let's say, 3 billion or even less. And 1.2 billion out of that number is a staggering number. So are so many people, are so many children under the below poverty line? It's quite heartening to note. So we will have to work for all of them. So in order to work for 1.2 billion kids, we will have to become a $1 trillion organization. That's pretty natural. That's the motivation behind it. So that's the reason I'm trying to diversify in so many fields. And there are some people who are interested in urban planning, smart cities and other stuff. So that's going to generate a lot of revenue. I have Pushpa working in India for smart cities. She's out due to COVID. She has been affected by COVID, but she will be back soon. And I've also contacted some external agencies. Just yesterday, there was a person from an organization who wanted to know more about their role or their contribution in terms of AI and ML. And I suggested smart cities and smart city councils of Europe. I've given the documents related to that. I don't want you to be disturbed, Anna Perez, for the smart cities, because you're going to work on drug discovery, because that is drug discovery is more close to your area of research, and you will be better equipped for drug discovery than smart cities and urban planning. So we will have other people working on smart cities and urban planning. So like this is another project. So Microsoft is a big project, and Park Fleet. Park Fleet is a kind of company who does fleet management, and they are into electrical vehicles, and they have a campaign called Charge Across America. So they have been traveling across America for, let's say, 3,000 miles at a stretch and stuff like that, just to create some awareness about range anxiety in electrical vehicles and a few other aspects of charging in terms of the electrical vehicles. So they are doing a good job, and we could assist them. So they have shown some interest. In fact, I contacted their CEO and CSO in that regard. I contacted them a couple of months back. I told them that give us some time, we'll come up with a good framework. So I've not responded back to them, but they're interested. I can find out from their post, they're quite interested in our area of research. Likewise, Bosch Siemens Home Appliances is quite interested, and they want the directions from our side, because they are good at IoT, but they are not good at social robotics, and they are not good at robotics for home appliances. And the chief expert of their robotics, the chief expert of robotics for BSH, contacted me and asked me to send some decks around our solutions. So I'm waiting for the right time to communicate with them with the deck. So I have been working on it. So this is another project, and okay, I'm repeating what I told last week, but this is since this meeting is about our progress and our journey, like I would like to reiterate a few topics, and also for the benefit of Anna Perez, who has joined this week. And we have also been working on topics of weather prediction. So for weather prediction, we would work along with NEC. So there is a company called NEC. It's a more than 100-year-old company. It's a Japanese company. They have very good supercomputers for weather prediction, weather modeling. So weather prediction and weather modeling is the most challenging task for a strong AI and super AI based system. So they are not using the strong AI and super AI currently. They are using just the weak AI, the specific artificial intelligence. And I'm not sure whether they even using AI for it. It might be just a model based development kind of thing. So we could assist NEC for that. I'll try to contact them pretty soon, and we would do weather prediction. This is very important when it comes to avoid the challenges of climate change. The challenges of climate change is we get a lot of cyclones, we get a lot of twisters, tornadoes, and the sea levels across the world rise. So these are all problems of climate change. So we have a concept. Okay, Salesforce has been coming up with this campaign. The campaign is Heaven on Earth. So that is a good campaign in the sense, instead of researching on Mars and Moon and other planets which has a poor radiative equilibrium. I talked about radiative equilibrium earlier. I guess you understand that concept. It's the amount of energy or amount of heat energy which it absorbs and it radiates. So a planet should have a good radiative equilibrium, otherwise it's not inhabitable. And I don't know why NASA is pretty bent on or adamant on colonizing Mars and Moon. Considering the fact that those two heavenly bodies does not have a good radiative equilibrium. So this radiative equilibrium is a concept directly coming out of Prevost's theory of heat exchanges. So if you see the radiative equilibrium of Moon, it's pathetic. I'll give you the numbers. It's pathetic. So we cannot inhabit Moon. And similarly, Mars. Earth has a very good radiative equilibrium. So that's why we are living in Earth. So we have so many twin Earths in our universe. There are more than 4,000 that have been identified. So the solution would be to go to those twin Earths instead of wasting our time on Mars and Moon and Saturn and other planets, which does not have a good radiative equilibrium. So these radiative equilibrium calculations can be done from Earth. We need not even go to those planets to those calculations. Similar to what they do for the calculations of the surface temperature of the sun. For calculating the surface temperature of the sun, you just need a black body. You just place a black body in the Earth and just measure what amount of energy your sun is radiating and receiving. So it's as simple as that. So similarly, we could calculate the radiative equilibrium of other planets even without going there. It can be any distance. So this is another topic which we talked about. I talked about ballistics and how our neutron star technology is going to be an energy source for future space objects. I call it space objects because it can be rockets or spaceships or whichever technology. So we will give the energy source for the space objects, and we will go away from ballistics because ballistics is not good technology. It's a very old technology, and it can be misused. Like I told about intercontinental ballistic missiles, so it can be misused. So we will have a cleaner technology and a more safer technology. And these are going to be big projects, and it's going to be projects which are going to help the society. I want to implement this child abuse prevention technology pretty soon. So I'm just waiting for Gentham to respond. If they don't respond, we'll build our own models and we'll start working. And there are some people who are already interested. They are messaging me on LinkedIn, showing their support for this technology. So heat signature is it's a quite old technology which is quite effective. With heat signature, we can detect any aircrafts. So every person would have their heat signature under various circumstances based on their thought process. So we will have this heat signature methodology implemented soon. And apart from that, we would like to assist farming and prevent cyclones and other stuff. So you might have heard of Bernoulli theorem. Bernoulli theorem, everyone would use it only for aircraft. So the principle of aircraft is based on Bernoulli theorem. That's pretty middle school stuff. But many people don't understand other unknown applications of Bernoulli's theorem. Let's say you play baseball. Baseball is based on Bernoulli theorem. So many people don't know it. So even the pitcher, how he throws and how the batsman hits the ball, all these things are based on Bernoulli theorem. So it's just a pressure and speed relationship. So you increase the pressure, speed reduces. You reduce the pressure, speed increases. So that's how low pressure areas in your ocean creates cyclones. So we could use the simple Bernoulli theorem to create artificial rain, to reduce the speed of cyclones. In fact, people have been doing it for a long time unknowingly. For example, if you get a tornado or a twister, people just open their windows. So what happens if people open their windows? Their roofs doesn't get blown away. So if you open your windows, your roofs doesn't get blown away. So that's the simple principle of Bernoulli's theorem. So if people implement Bernoulli theorem in their day-to-day life, the damage caused by these cyclones and tornadoes and twisters would be limited. So we'll go a step further, and we will have ways to implement this theorem in the ocean surface and reduce the speed of cyclones where they occur. And we could have controlled cyclones. The reason why we need controlled cyclones is we need rainfall. So the whole of Indian subcontinent depends on monsoon, and most of the monsoons are based out of cyclones from the oceans which surround the Indian subcontinent. So we will have to have controlled cyclones so that we will have rainfall throughout the year. So we are just going to use Bernoulli's theorem for it, which is as simple as that. So we need not even worry about desalinization of oceans, desalination of seas and oceans, which is quite costly. So fresh water is a major concern all around the world. People don't get fresh water. So 2/3 of our Earth is covered with water body, but it's useless because it's saline water. We don't have fresh water. We don't have enough fresh water. 20% of world's fresh water is available in Lake Baikal in Russia, just in one place in some pockets, but we don't have fresh water. So that's a major problem. So we will have to invent ways and mechanism to create artificial rain in places like Middle East and Africa and other drought-hit regions, even Australia, which is a desert continent. So we will have to implement artificial rain. We will have to use Bernoulli's theorem for creating artificial rain. So this we are going to help with that as well. So the reason why we have to do weather prediction and strong AI and super AI along with Bernoulli's theorem for creation of artificial rain is a proper decision making mechanism and for creating artificial rain. So we are going to give an AI flavor to Bernoulli's theorem. So 300 or 400 odd year old theorem will have its facelift using artificial intelligence. So similarly, we will have a facelift for Prevost's theory of heat exchanges using artificial intelligence, which is going to help space organizations for their atmospheric re-entry problem, for solving their atmospheric re-entry problem. So this is a big problem. So you might have heard of many space shuttle disasters where a single tile, which is a heat resistant mechanism to avoid any heat damage due to atmospheric re-entry, would have affected, and the whole space shuttle blows up. So that's what happened many years ago. There was a spaceship, the space shuttle, which got blown up because a single tile got burnt, a single tile. So we will have to devise mechanism where we use the Prevost's theory of heat exchanges in a proper manner. So I'll give you an example. See, I've been walking around in snow and cold with just my bicycling short and this turtleneck sweater, and I don't feel cold. The reason being, I'm not exchanging heat to the environment. So my environment is cold, and my body's reach the temperature of my environment. And so I'm not exchanging heat. So when you don't exchange heat, you don't feel cold. So similar strategy can be applied for hot temperatures as well. So you don't exchange heat, you don't feel cold or hot. So similarly, you apply the same principle for space shuttles. So space shuttles get heated up and blown up because they exchange heat with the atmospheric friction. So the space shuttle re-enters the atmosphere, and there's a lot of friction, and the heat can go up to 3000 degrees Celsius. So 3000 degrees Celsius, if we have a mechanism by which we reach that kind of temperature through artificial means in our space shuttle, without affecting any dynamics of the space shuttle, we reach that temperature. We reach that equilibrium, we reach that radiative equilibrium, and we go through a space atmospheric re-entry, then there won't be any exchange of heat. And the space shuttle need not even go fast. The reason why space shuttles go fast when they do a atmospheric re-entry is they don't want to withstand that kind of heat for a longer time. So 3000 degrees centigrade, let's say for I don't know how many seconds or minutes the atmospheric re-entry happens. I have to do some research. Let's say it goes for a minute. So the atmospheric re-entry is for a minute. So they do the space shuttle designers and the space research organizations want to make it very fast so that they can avoid heat for a longer time. So that creates a lot of challenges in terms of fuel, because in deep space, in other parts of the space, you don't need any fuel. You don't need any fuel, you just need a thrust. You just keep navigating, you don't need fuel. But when you have to do atmospheric re-entry and stuff like that, you need fuel, and there's going to be a lot of cost associated with that. So we could avoid all those things, and we could have optimum design of space shuttles without any damage to the space shuttle in terms of atmospheric re-entry with 100% safe operation through the simple application of Prevost theory of heat exchanges. So this theory could have been applied when Titanic sank. Maybe I'm thinking too much of utopia, but it is possible. Let's say if we train our body to withstand the temperature of Atlantic Ocean, we don't exchange our body's heat to the temperature outside, people would not have died in the Atlantic Ocean. So that's a simple example. And that's the reason why some people can swim in lake, an ice lake. You might have seen many commandos and many people swimming in ice lakes without any problem. It is simple application of Prevost theory of heat exchanges. So they're not exchanging heat with the atmosphere. So they are able to swim in cold water. So all the ice bucket challenge and all the ice challenges, those could be easily done by this simple application of this concept. So I'm going to use this concept for space shuttle design and even other applications like withstanding high extreme climatic conditions. So we could use it in many places, and also in nuclear reactors where we need a lot of cooling. We need a lot of cooling, a lot of design, a lot of challenges there because there's a lot of heat generated. But applying this principle, we could simplify those designs, and we could have more nuclear reactors. That's a nuclear reactor is a clean energy, but I have other means of clean energy like neutron stars. So we could have talks with the Department of Energy. So I have already registered with the Department of Energy for the Clean Energy Core, and they'll get back to me soon. So I've registered both as an individual and an organization. So as an individual, I'll be an individual contributor for their projects, and as an organization, we are going to collaborate with the Department of Energy. So we are going to propose neutron stars as against hydrogen, bio, fuel cells, nuclear reactors, fossil fuels, and what else? Wind energy and all the renewables. So this neutron star is going to be more effective than all the clean energies available currently in the world. So I was talking about the kind of energy we are talking about. A small part of a neutron star on my palm could generate energy which was generated by the sun for 100,000 years. For 100,000 years, what the sun had generated, I just have it in my palm. So we are talking that kind of energy. So we will have to devise mechanism where that energy could be quite reproducible and controlled in a very controlled manner in a lab environment. So currently they have mimicked neutron stars in the lab. So we will enhance that research, and we will do some energy modeling to solve some of the challenges in terms of there's something called equation of state, EOS. So equation of state, some challenges around it. We will solve it, and we will collaborate with the Argonne National Laboratory, and we will solve those challenges through applying our core technologies of strong AI and super AI. That's going to have good decision-making mechanism, and we're going to solve those challenges, and we will soon bring this clean energy to all the applications around the world. So this is going to be a pretty simple approach, and we are going to propose this approach. Yeah, that's what it is all about. So I give another 10 minutes. So it's already for 11:58. I just have 2 minutes, but you could take additional some time to ask any questions if you have, and how we are going to proceed with our projects.
Well, my question is about the project you told me about.
Drug discovery, right? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But the Lubrizol, yeah?
Yeah, Lubrizol. Okay, Lubrizol is an organization. They do a lot of stuff. Even they do blood thinning and stuff like that. So the reason why we contracted the Lubrizol is like they're not too big and they're not too small. You understand, right? Okay. They're not too big, whom we cannot approach, and they're not too small, who are not useful to us. So they are middle ground. So that's why we approached Lubrizol. We could approach other big organizations like AstraZeneca. In fact, AstraZeneca is quite interested in our research, so we could contact them as well. So let's start with Lubrizol. The problem statement which the drug discovery has is the timeline for a drug discovery is almost 10 years, even for a simple drug.
You told me. Yeah,
I told you, right?
I know.
10 years, $2.6 billion on average. And you think the amount of return of investment the big pharma is going to think about, and the kind of burden the consumer is going to have for a simple drug like paracetamol.
Yeah,
just for a single
actually it's 10 years. It's a timeline of 10 years for several years. So when I was doing my graduation, it was already 10 years. And it was a while ago.
Think that's just for paracetamol. Think about the cancer drug.
Yeah.
So before it's released, it will be outdated. So 10 years before you research on a drug and you release it after 10 years and think about its relevance. So we will have to release drug within months. So we will have to have very good simulations. So it's all clinical trials. So it's all clinical. We need people. So instead of having real people, we'll have simulations. So that's what it's all about. So we will get the approval
for that, maybe
all the So we get all the approval for such clinical trials. So we should have 3 clinical trials in order to release a drug. So you might be knowing about it. So with each clinical trial, the mass deployment would be more. You know about it, right? So clinical trials. So we will have to speed in this clinical trials and increase the speed of release of drugs. And what was I thinking about? Yeah, there is a topic on Earth simulation as well. So Department of Energy, they have released a concept of simulating the energy in the Earth, the crust and its core and stuff like that for many magnetic field and a lot of things which could be simulated and help us to live in Earth peacefully. And why do we have atmosphere in our Earth? And why Mars does not have atmosphere in its framework? Why do we have atmosphere? Okay, rather, how do we have atmosphere?
That I don't know.
It's due to the magnetic field of the Earth.
Okay.
If we don't have magnetic field on the Earth, there's no atmosphere. So that's why we have to look for twin Earths. The Mars does not have magnetic field. The moon does not have magnetic field. There's no point in going and inhabiting that. There's no atmosphere. There's no point in unnecessarily wasting a time in Mars and Earth. So we have to go to twin Earth. So people at Argonne National Laboratory are doing research on this topic so that we could understand how did the magnetic field of the Earth come into place, come into picture in the first place. So there are many theories around it. One theory is the hot core, the iron in the hot core, which created the magnetic field in the north and south pole. So there are many theories around it. So we will have to come with a concrete theory so that we could understand the real reason behind the magnetic field of our Earth. So once we understand this concept, we could apply this to any planet and create atmospheres. So it's going to be an artificial core of the planet. So it's going to be very tough, but we can create atmospheres for other planets as well. So we will suggest such technologies to NASA. So we need not go to Mars. So we could go to a nearby planet, let's say Venus or Mercury. And we could do away with their heavy carbon dioxide atmosphere and bring in a good atmosphere. So we could convert their bad atmosphere to a good atmosphere. So we could do all such stuff. But we will have to work on warp drives. Because as I told you, the elliptical orbits of the solar system is not stable. So even if we inhabit Venus or Mercury or Mars or Saturn or whatever, it's going to be unstable, and we'll have all sorts of problems like global warming, rise of sea levels, climate change. Also, we'll have problems. So the real reason for these problems is the instability of our orbit. orbit. There is instability every 100,000 years, or the frequency is not very accurate. It could be earlier. There is some theory around it, but we will have to do some research and find out how frequent it is, and other instances in the past where we had climate changes. So because our human beings are just let's say 65 million years old, or no, we are in not even million, we are in terms of thousand, like the Homo sapiens are just 250,000 odd years old. So we don't know the complete history of the climate changes on planet Earth. So we will have to understand that and check whether it's a regular occurrence, and we will have to think ways of mitigating. One simple way of mitigating such approach is use of Bernoulli's theorem. Just use of Bernoulli's theorems and avoid all cyclones and storms and tornadoes, twisters. Okay, I've taken 4 minutes ahead of our time. Do you want to continue, or you want to drop?
Just one question. Do we have any collaborations on this field of drug discovery?
Yeah.
The cancer drug?
I'll try. Like,
okay.
I was waiting for Hemalata. The reason why I did not bypass Hemalata and contact Lubrizol is Lubrizol was her contact.
Yeah, of
so
course.
I wanted to go through her, but I guess Hemalata is quite busy with her activities. So let's contact Lubrizol today or tomorrow. Rather, tomorrow is a holiday. Okay, I don't want you guys to work on holidays. We'll contact today or Monday, and we'll contact Lubrizol and we'll get started.
Yeah, I was asking that because I wanted to know. I want to know where they are on that, on their research about the drug.
Okay, Lubrizol is again a
big
pharma. Yeah, Lubrizol is again a big pharma company, and all big pharma companies are greedy. It's a known fact. All big pharma companies are greedy. They want to make money. Yeah, they want to delay the time. So they'll purposely delay the timeline. So make it 10 years so that they'll have funding for 10 years. They'll have all the funding for 10 years. They'll increase the price and they'll make a lot of money. So all big pharma are greedy.
Yeah, that I know, but it's more on the way to know where to go, where to search, where to look for the answers that we want to answer. So that's why I was asking
you. Give me a prepare a deck. I will help you. We'll sit together and prepare a deck. Prepare a deck for the 3 stages. That is the 3 clinical trials and all the parameters associated with those clinical trials. We'll start with that. We'll start with the 3 clinical trials, and we'll try to bring in our solutions for those trials with our simulation. And I will give you the strategies, how I'm going to use our artificial intelligence and simulation for bringing down the timeline of those 3 clinical trials. So I'm telling you this with confidence because they did COVID vaccine in record time.
Okay.
You cannot introduce a vaccine so fast, but they did it for COVID. So necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah,
necessity is the mother of invention. So we are going to invent ways for reducing timeline for other drugs as well. So cancer is
but as you said, they are very greedy. So
they're greedy. So everyone can invent drugs very fast, but they're greedy. They won't do that. So we will do that. So we have all the funding. $6 billion is not a bad amount. So we have all the funding. We could do that. In fact, we could become the next big pharma. But I don't want to go into that space. Our core technology is different. Our core technology is strong AI, super AI, and quantum AI. We're going to assist various organizations with this technology, and this is a high growth industry. The reason being, it could assist just about any industry in the world. And the reason why I chose this particular core technology is we want to become a $1 trillion organization to support children across the world and alleviate poverty. So we have to have a core technology which is valuable in terms of trillions of dollars. I cannot start a steel industry because a steel industry, let's say it's worth $100 billion max. So I cannot start a steel industry and think about a $1 trillion industry. So I have to go into spaces where it's capable of generating revenue in terms of $1 trillion. So augmented reality is such a space. Augmented reality also with HoloLens, Holo2. So such spaces can generate about around $500 billion. And music industry, you might ignore the music industry saying it's just not making enough money, but music industry is $200 billion worth of industry. So just these two industry will give you $700 billion. And urban planning, that's a huge industry. Urban planning, smart cities. So that's because there's a lot of urbanization. 60% of the world would be urbanized by, not even 60, more than 70% would be urbanized by the year 2050. Currently, the rate of urbanization is very less. We are not urbanized, but in future it will be fully urbanized. So the kind of investment on urbanization is huge, and you might have heard of the bipartisan infrastructure investment in US. It's huge. So just for one country, the investment is so huge, and imagine the whole world. So I have estimated some figures around it, and in just one state in my country, we could generate $10 billion, and we have 29 countries. We could easily generate $300 billion in just my country, that is India. So think about the whole world. So that is the reason we are into the space, and we are going to generate $1 trillion of revenue. And the reason why we want to become $1 trillion revenue is not for us to become rich. It's going to be for charity, and 90% of our revenue would go for charity. And I'm not going to draw a salary from my own organization. I'm going to work another job, 9 to 5 job, for my own expenses. So I need such commitment from all the employees, and I want you guys to be change makers, and rather than greedy big pharma or other greedy money making organizations. So we are not that. We want to be the most revered organization. We want to devote our revenue towards charity. Okay, so let's prepare. If you have time in the afternoon, let's prepare a few topics around the 3 clinical trials. I'll give you the points. You make it more elaborate, and we would present that deck to Lubrizol to start with. Okay, Lubrizol is a guinea pig. I'm sorry to use the word. Let's use Lubrizol as a guinea pig, and let's find out their response, and then we'll go to big pharma like AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Moderna.
Okay. Yeah. So just send me that, and
I hope this recording does not reach Lubrizol.
Okay. So just send me the things that I will start doing.
Okay, we'll go to a Zoom meeting after an hour or two. Okay, what is the time in Portugal
now? 5 p.m.
Do you have plans for the evening?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
No okay, problem. Then we'll start at 6:30 Portugal time, and that would be 1:30 my time.
Okay.
Okay, we'll start at 6:30 Portugal time, and I'll give you some ideas around the decks. I want you to prepare the deck and you to present it, because they won't take the points from an engineer, an artificial intelligence engineer, about microbiology and drug discovery. So you have the background for microbiology, drug discovery, so they'll take points also. Even though if I give the points and I give the topics, you will have to present it. So we will do that when we meet Lubrizol. So I'll arrange a meeting with them, and we have many topics to work on. And I spoke only about a few topics. There are many more topics under our belt, which we are collaborating with. So due to the reason why I'm keeping these team meetings is just to have a what do you call a human connection with the employees, and so that they feel that they are working for a cause and they're working for a mission statement. So that's the reason of all these meetings. Otherwise, I could have explained all these things through an email or just a detailed presentation, so that that would be good enough. But I wanted to explain through a meeting, because we want to understand the significance of the mission statement and the emotion behind it, and the kind of commitment and conviction we are putting our thought process and effort for this, to make a world a better place and make the lives of people comfortable. So that's the ultimate aim. So we want to be disease free. So by means of organ donation and by means of using AI, nanorobots and other stuff, we will be disease free soon. And next we'll tackle aging. So aging could be tackled with the understanding telomerase dynamics. You might know about telomerase. So telomerase was invented, the concept of telomerase was invented very recently in 2009. That is going to help us in a big way in terms of understanding the aging process and also cancer dynamics. So it's going to help in two ways. Aging, they have already understood the dynamics. For cancer, they have to understand based on telomerase. So we will work on those concepts and we will place nanorobots in our body so that they could repair if the telomerase sheath is getting worn out. So if such a repair is happening in our body, then we will easily live 150 years, like turtles. That's why I'm as to signify that I'm wearing turtleneck. So we can live for 150 years easily. And this is also a regular outfit of Steve Jobs. I'm just kidding. He was always wearing turtleneck. He was wearing black turtleneck, and I'm wearing a white turtleneck. So white is a symbol of purity, and we are trying to have pure thoughts for the world, to heal the world. So that's why I'm wearing it. There's another reason for that. I'll not tell that. That's secret. But why I'm wearing a turtleneck. Okay. Let's end this call, and we will again connect at 6:30 your time.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
See you then. Bye.